taking a little bit of a break from playing green-white Mad Dogs, playing this time playing black-white Control. Now, even though I'm not playing Mad Dogs this time around, in this particular league, we do actually meet an opponent playing the deck, so we get to see someone else pilot part of the deck for a change. So stay tuned for that. Now, black-white Control. So black-white is actually my favorite color combination in Magic in general. It's something I've played a lot in other formats, usually pretty aggressive lists, more like Dead Gael. I've tried to make Dead Gael work in Premodern, but like most people, I've basically concluded that black-white Control is just a better black-white deck to be playing. In this particular list, I feel like there's kind of two versions of the deck. There's those that don't play Bane of the Living and those that do. I am playing 3 copies of Bane of the Living. This list is also called, kind of referred to as Angel's Bane. I think this is just a really sweet card. Like Exalted Angel, it can really take over the game. And sometimes flipping it for 2 is very real. And having the extra morphs is also nice. You can kind of bluff with that. Also, it just means we're playing quite a few threats in the deck, so even though it gets called, even though this is referred to as Control, we can actually be pretty aggressive sometimes when it's called for. Otherwise, I think this list is pretty close to what you might have seen. We are playing 1 of each cycling land, 2 Dust Bowl, and a Kor Haven, Swords Duress, 2 Furnace to help control the graveyard, 1 Funeral Charm. I think this is just a nice one-off. It's mainly to beat a turn 1 Lackey, but it is pretty flexible, so I think it's a nice one-off. 4 Verdict, 1 Wrath of God, together with 3 Bane. That's kind of our Wrath package. We also have an Infest in the sideboard and such. And I'm playing just 3 Vindicates. Obviously this is a pretty key card for black-white, but I find that having all 4 copies can be a little slow. So I decided to basically take 1 out and split it into Funeral Charm and Seal of Cleansing, just to have a little bit more early interaction. And because we're playing the Enlightened Tutor sideboard plan, I think having Seal of Cleansing is a nice option to be able to get in the post-board games. Sometimes you just really need to clear an early enchantment. Yeah, 4 Angels like I was talking about. Here I'm playing just 2 Eternal Dragon. I've since gone up to 3. I think that is the ideal place to be. 2 Decree. I'm playing 3 Skeletal Scrying, and then 1 Death Grasp. This is kind of just a fun-off. I just think it's a really sweet card. So against aggro, it can help stabilize, and in other matchups, sometimes with this deck, the games can go really long. Sometimes you're sitting on like 17 lands and you can just dome someone for 15. Again, it's maybe not the most optimal, but I think it's just a really fun card, and I couldn't resist playing 1. As I mentioned, the sideboard we're playing the Enlightened Tutor plan. We're playing 2 copies, taking inspiration from Nagwal 88's sideboard guide. You can find his guide in the Premodern Discord for black-white Control. I think it's a really good guide to help get you started with the deck. I was running just 1, and he was running 2 tutors. Since trying it out, I've been liking it quite a bit. The targets we're running 2 Cop Red takes over the game against red. 1 Sacred Ground against Land Destruction. 2 Aura of Silence. I've since gone up in these. I think they're really good against Enchantress, especially. Running 1 Presence of the Master. Again to hedge against Enchantress. I've since dropped this card. I think it's a little too slow. But Enchantress is a really rough matchup for this deck, so need all the help we can get against that. I'm also playing 1 Ivory Mask. This mainly against Mill, but it can also do work against Sly. I've been liking this card so far. And we're playing 1 Infest, another cheap sweeper, 2 Engineered Plague, 1 Tsabo's Web against mainlands. I think this build is maybe a little not optimized for Tsabo's Web, but there are some decks where this is gonna hurt your opponent more than it will hurt us. So I think it's good. I'm playing 1 Cursed Totem. I've since been convinced that this is not really worth playing, because a lot of the targets that you might hit with Cursed Totem also get hit by Engineered Plague. So I think you can just drop this for. In my case, I've gone up to 1 Phyrexian Arena, which I feel like is very much lacking in this particular list. And then I'm playing 1 Cabal Therapy. I think it's good to have that available post-board when you know what you're playing against. Even though we don't have as many targets to sacrifice to flash it back, sometimes you can just do that. Yeah, but this was an early leak with the deck. It's very much still learning this deck, but I think it's really sweet. Let's jump into the league. So for round 1, we're on the play, and we see a fine hand here. Do have some tap lanes, but we can cycle them, and with Eternal Dragon we can find basic planes, and we can open our Duress with Vindicate and Bane, so happy to keep that. So we are playing against Sly, and I take an Incinerate. Also showing a Fire Blast, a Ball Lightning, which I don't currently have an answer for. I do just cycle the Barren Moor here. And here I go for Vindicating one of the lanes. Basically I just want to delay a Ball Lightning, because I don't currently have a sword or something to answer it. They get down a Seal of Fire, and they play Ball Lightning. I go for Skeletal Scrying, just hoping to hit a swords. I do of course take some damage from drawing, but hoping that drawing the cards can also help me stabilize. We do luckily draw a sword, and then another Bane. Just cycling here to make sure I hit my land drops. Do play out a Bane that they take out. Yeah, Curse Scroll is really not a card we wanted to see. Really makes things difficult. Now we drew an Exalted Angel, but we're 1 land short of hard casting it, and we can't really morph it because of the Curse Scroll, so tricky situation. Opponent just has a Fire Blast left in hand. And now they drawing a bolt. They just have lethal, so they take game 1. Now for game 2 against Sly, I take out 1 Eternal Dragon, 2 Duress, 3 Skeletal Scrying, and I bought in 2 Tutors, 2 Cop Red, and 1 Engineered Plague. And we see a fine hand here. We get to get down an early Cop Red, And with Verdict and Bane, that's just exactly what you're hoping for. The opponent has an early Grim Lava Man, so I just get down the Cobred. Here they have a Pyrostatic Pillar. I'm just holding up Cobred at the moment. They are activating Lava Mesa, and I just activate Cobred. And now drawing an Ivory Mask. That's just extra insurance. I don't really want to play it out right away because I wanna have mana available for the Cobred. I don't really have to do anything. I can just keep hitting lanes. Opponent isn't really doing anything either. Though I do think there's a little bit of misplay playing out the Ivory Mask. This is very weak to Anarchy, which is exactly what they have here. So kind of overextending into Anarchy. I think you could have also made a case for just playing out something like Bane of the Living earlier, because we had all this mana to still sink into Cobred. But either way, this is how it went. Do Vindicate the pillar here and hit him with the Verdict twice, so they are empty-handed now. We're still at 17, so still a good position. They do have a double Barbarian Ring active now. I just play out Bane of the Living and flip it here. This does take care of their board. They just have 2 Barbarian Rings now. They drop another pillar. I draw an Eternal Dragon and play it out. Here I can tutor for a card and immediately draw it with by cycling the Furnace, so I get a Cobred. They do hit a lot of burn at us. We're down to 5, but with the Cobred online and Eternal Dragon, I mean they're down to 4, so there's just nothing they can really do from here. And we take game 2. For game 3 against Sly, I do sideboard a little bit differently, also taking out Double Decree and Wrath of God for Infest, just an earlier sweeper. Also bringing in another E-Plague and 1 Aura of Silence to deal with some of their artifacts and enchantments. So I do keep this hand that I feel is maybe not the greatest keep, just keeping a 1-lander. But I do have E-Tutor and Furnace, and with the Dragon, if I get on a 2nd land, I can kind of snowball on lands. Just playing out the Furnace here. I have to cycle the Furnace, but I do hit a land off that, so it's not too bad. Getting down Pyrostatic Pillar, and I just naturally draw a cop red. They get down a Curse Scroll, but they are stuck on 2 lands. Here I can cycle the dragon to make sure I hit my land drop. They get down a Sulfuric Vortex. Curse Scroll, one way to get around cop red. Drawing an Angel is certainly a good one. So now I can drop a Seal of Cleansing to take out the Curse Scroll, and from here they just scoop it up. I think taking out the scroll is pretty key. I mean, we do just see why cop red is a completely busted magic card. He just completely shut down Sly, and I mean, I do feel like they could have maybe played a little longer, but looking at our hand, we certainly had a very good good path from here. And if we get down an Ivory Mask, that would completely shut down any sort of future Curse Scrolls and the like. So we take him down 2-1. Now for round 2, game 1. You see a fine hand here with the Swords Furnace into double Bane. And we're just seeing a Wasteland from our opponent. Get down a Furnace. Opponent gets down a Sylvan Library, so that's certainly not the card we're excited to see from our opponent. But we get down a Bane. And opponent is very aggressively drawing 2 cards off the library and also wastelanding us. So, I mean, that play certainly makes sense if you think this is an Exalted Angel, because that keeps it from morphing the next turn. But because it's Bane of the Living, we can just flip it and start getting in for 4, which is exactly what we do here. So opponent is already down to 7. They play a Call of the Herd, and I just take it out with a sword to keep getting in with the Bane. I play out another Bane. They draw another Call of the Herd. And here, drawing a Funeral Charm kind of opens up a line where if they don't block this Bane, we can deal lethal damage. And this is exactly what happens. They block the morphed Bane, and we can pump the unblocked Bane for lethal, taking down game 1. So for round 2, game 2, I sideboard like it's Oath Poncer basically, or Terragudon, I'm not exactly sure. we will see that it's a little bit different actually once we get into the game. But this is what I sideboard. I take out one Eternal Dragon, 2 Decree, 2 Verdicts for 2 E-Tutors. Also taking in 1 Sacred Ground, 1 Cursed Totem to shut down a Wayfarer. I also take in 1 Tsabo's Whip. I do mulligan the first hand to find something with a little more action. Kinda punished because only seeing white lands. But being able to drop a... being able to tutor turn 1 is certainly something I'm happy to do in this this kind of matchup. I'm kind of forced to just get a Seal of Cleansing to take out the library, because otherwise that can quickly run away with the game. I do Morph an Angel and they have a Pyroclasm. And now they're dropping Ravenous Balos, so they're showing that they're more heavily committed to red. So it's a little bit different than what I thought I was playing against. We do find a black source, but it is tapped. An opponent finds another Baloth. I do rest them taking out Call of the Herd. And I hit Wrath of God to take out both Baloths. Because I had the Wrath, I just want to take out the Call so that they're forced to flash that back. They're showing a Hull Breach and Naturalize, but we don't have any targets for that currently, so that's alright. They're just flashing back Call of the Herd. Here with 5 cards in my graveyard, I'm happy to be cycling those to draw some action. They are getting in for 6, but so I just draw 4 cards here, hoping to hit a Swords, which is exactly what happens. And they get down a Factory. Now we have Swords and double Vindicate, so feeling good about that. I do just kind of take a slower route and just Dust Bowl their Factory. And just hitting Swords on the Elephant. They find another Factory. And more for Bane. And play out a Furnace. They naturalize it. They finally found a target for the naturalize. And I just cycle it to hit another land. They find another Call of the Herd. And now we draw an Angel. I just hard cast the Angel. They're flashing back the Call of the Herd. Just getting busy with the Angel now. I do just take the damage because it's not really representing that much. I would rather flip the Bane when they're also attacking with the Factory. I just dodge ball the Factory that was attacking. And I play out a Tsabo's Whip, destroying a Shivan Oasis, just taking down the colored sources. And flipping the Bane. So now I can get in for 8. They wasteland our Dust Bowl, which doesn't really Doesn't really hurt us much. They are getting in for 5, but with drawing another Vindicate, now I can take out 2 of the lands, which is exactly what I do. They're down to just a forest and an elephant token, which I don't care about because we're swinging in with the angel. So we take him down 2-0 for round 3. Game 1, we're on the play, seeing a fine hand here with a lot of interaction. And we see a Jackal Pop, which I do just hit with the sword. Now hitting them with the Verdict. They drop 2 lanes, so we gain 6. They drop a Sylvan Library, which I do just Vindicate. I go for Dust Bowling one of their lands, and they drop a Mongrel, which I hit with a sword, then Duress away a Lightning Bolt. They're just hitting us with hitting us for 2 with fire, pretty aggressive. And playing out a treetop, hitting us with a Cursed Scroll. Here I do just sack the Dust Bowl to take out the treetop. Drawing an angel, so not ideal in this spot since they have Cursed Scroll. Kind of regretting sacking our lands, but I do find a 5th one. And they get down a Jackal Pop and another treetop. So they found 3 treetop villages this game. Now I can hardcast an angel. Opponents drawing really hot this game. They found a bolt and take down the angel. And now Call of the Herd. Yeah, it's hard to keep up this kind of draw. I mean, they've just been hitting all the man lands and keep hitting threats and removal at the right time. So what can you do? They have 2 man lands and Cursed Scroll, so it's just really tricky to deal with. Now they find their 4th treetop. Kind of desperation move, verdicting myself. And they even find another Call of the Herd. That's enough for me. They take game 1. Now round 3, game 2. Playing as another green-red deck. I take out 2 Decrees, 1 Eternal Dragon, and 1 Funeral Charm. And I take in 2 E-Tutors, 1 Tsabo's Web, and 1 Cursed Totem. In hindsight, I don't think this was a very good sideboard play. I don't think Cursed Totem has enough targets, and I think double E-Tutor is a little much just to find like Tsabo's Web and such. So yeah, I don't think this was the best sideboard play. I could have brought in Infest and maybe even a Cobred, but this is what we went with. And a little roughly kind of finding E-Tutor and our target. Both hands, of course, we can mulligan away the Tsabo whip, so we can just find it with the E-Tutor. Opponent once again leading on Jackal Pup. I do just find the Tsabo whip. Drawing a Duress. Opponent again has a Sylvan Library, so really good start again for them. We just have double Duress. It's not really, I mean, we're hitting Incinerate and Call of the Herd, but obviously you're not thrilled to Duress away Call of the Herd. And they find a Cursed Scroll again, so yeah, this is that is really lining up well against us. They just get down a bunch of creatures, and we're not really seeing enough action to fight what they have, so they take it down 2-0. Now for round 4, game 1, we're on the play, and first hand we see here only has one swamp, so easy mulligan. We find a better hand here with Duress into Verdict into Angel. Opponents showing that they are playing Mad Dogs, so always fun to see that in the wild. To see someone else playing it. We take out Swords with Duress, they have another one. We also see a Ray of Revelation. Now they draw a Tireless Tribe. And flash in a Root Waller. You love to see it. They're also getting down a Patrol Hound. Here I do hit them with Verdict. I hit a Rancor and a Ray of Revelation, so certainly happy to get rid of the Rancor. But they're already applying a ton of pressure. We're down to 10. So the issue was I couldn't really play out the Angel because I knew they had a sword. So I was clearing the way with Verdict, but now the Angel is too late. We are down to 2. And they even get down a Lion. Even if we swing in here, it's too late. So for game 2 here, against Mad Dogs, I take out 2 Duress, 2 Verdict. It's not really ideal. Discard isn't really ideal against them since they're already looking to discard. Hitting them with Verdict where they can just discard a Root Waller or something isn't the best. I also take out 1 Death Grasp. It's a little too slow. Also take out 2 Decrees. Again, they're pretty slow, and with Glory they can just swing through the tokens. I take in 2 E-Tutors, 1 Cursed Totem, 1 Tsabo's Whip, and 1 Infest. And we see a decent hand. I can open up on E-Tutor. And I have Bane later on. They do find a Savannah Lion. I don't go for the E-Tutor here. Now they find Sylvan Library, I cycle the dragon to hit my land drop. Duress away a sword. They show they also have glory and a factory. I play out a seal to deal with the library. Here I'm off one of the Bane. They find a treetop. And in my upkeep I hit I cast a tutor to find Tsabo's whip. It shuts down their main lands. They just hard-cast a Root Waller. Unfortunately, I'm still not finding my second black source, so I can't flip the Bane, which is pretty problematic now since they they can pump the Root Waller both on their turn and on my turn. I cast Scrying, drawing a bunch of cards, but I'm down to 6, and I'm still not hitting my second black source. Now they hard cast a Glory. I hit him with Wrath of God, but this means the Glory is in the graveyard, which is really bad for this deck. They hard cast another Glory, and I don't currently have a sword, so it's I'm not hitting my land drops, so it's bad situation because now they can untap and hold up Glory, which is really I mean that's all there is to it. I mean I can swing in with the Angel, but they have a sword, so now we really need to. I mean, there's not really anything that can get us back from this spot because they can just activate Glory twice, and they take down both games. They certainly played well, and also, I mean, in my experience, playing Mad Dogs, I think Mad Dogs is very favored against Black-White control. I also think the version with Manlands is a little bit better than the version with Wastelands against this deck specifically. Um, yeah, it was a little rough this game that we kind of got stuck on lands. If we had gotten to flip the Bane earlier and maybe hit a few swords, we could have done better, but that's how it goes. Now for round 5, game 1. It's not the most exciting hand, but we do have a Furnace, and we can cycle a Dragon, later cast an Angel. We see Mountain into Goblin Patrol, so looking like Sly again. We draw a Seal of Cleansing. So this league has certainly been heavy on the aggressive decks. They just drop a Seal of Fire. And now they have a ball lightning. Unfortunately, we don't have an answer, and I can't even try to draw with the furnace because there was nothing in the graveyard. So I'm just taking the damage and cycling the dragon to hit our lands. Here I do hit them with the verdict, taking out another patrol in the land, so we gain some life. Drawing another furnace. So at least we're able to text their graveyard. They do draw a Cursed Scroll. I cycle the furnace to find a Bane. I just play out the seal to get rid of the scroll. They bolt me down to 8. They just play another land. I'm cycling the furnace, finding another Bane. I'm off a Bane, kind of baiting Seal of Fire to hit the Bane. Which is exactly what they do. And I can flip the Bane for 0 so that it doesn't die to the seal. They do attack and I do take that trade. They just hit another land, so they're not finding more action. Yeah, they keep hitting lanes, so good for us. I just cast Death Grasp. And now I can hard cast an Angel. They play out a Lava Mancer. But it's no longer a very impressive threat since we're swinging in with an Angel. And we can just sort the Lava Mancer. We take down game 1. Now for round 5, game 2 against Sly. Here I sideboard pretty aggressively. I take out 4 Duress, 2 Skeletal Scrying, 2 Decree, 1 Eternal Dragon, and I take in 2 Tutors, 2 Coblet, 2 Engineered Plague, and 1 Infest. Also 1 Ivory Mask. And we see a fine hand with a good deal of interaction. Opponent just has a Lava Mancer. They just play another land. We hit him with Verdict, taking out an Incinerator and a Fire Blast. They get down a Cursed Scroll. We just take it down with the Seal of Cleansing. Now they're hitting us with Burn and playing another Cursed Scroll. I just Vindicate the Curse Scroll. Don't want to deal with that. Here I play Internet Plague, naming Elemental. That way they can't top deck a Ball Lightning. And now I tutor for an Ivory Mask, shutting down burn spells. They sack their Barbarian Ring in response, and also Fire Blast me. But this means they're down to just 2 lands, no cards in hand or anything. They play out a Goblin Patrol. I just cycle the dragon and holding off on morphing the angel. I would rather hard cast it. And they're just hitting lands. Morphing Bane of the Living now. They take it down with a Seal of Fire. I think I could have been getting back the dragon. I'm just kind of hoping to naturally draw a land, but it's not happening. I hold off on casting Cop Red to dodge Anarchy, as we saw in round 1. Yeah, I really could have been getting back the dragon earlier here. I finally go for taking back the dragon. And of course I find a land. Opponent plays out a Lavamancer. Drawing another Angel here. So I'm just hard casting it. And now they scoop it up. Hard to imagine they win from here, so yeah. Makes sense that they scoop. So in the end, we went 3-2. We faced some very aggressive decks, just losing to sort of a red-green, pretty aggressive red-green deck that they really hit. They were drawing really hot. Bane lands and Coral Herd and Library and things like that, so that's going to be hard for this deck to deal with. And then we lost to Mad Dogs, so no shame in losing to that deck. That I'm certainly happy to. Anytime I can just play against that deck, and yeah, it's I'll take a loss from that deck any day. But yeah, this was I think my 4th league with this deck. First time I'm kind of starting to feel like I am starting to get the hang of the deck. I think it's just a really sweet deck. I feel like you can kind of face almost anything. It's just so nice to have, you kind of have answers to basically anything. Yeah, it's just, I'm having a lot of fun with this deck. Yeah, thanks for watching.